Hey guys, welcome to Jacksonville, Florida. He's Chris Halleck. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. We're from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Final score, Steelers 31, Jaguars 25 in the preseason opener. Not a ton of news to be shared from this particular event. Not a ton of regular starters participating in this event.
19 at least.
Otherwise, though, I'd like to think, and this is the impression we certainly got just now in the locker room downstairs, that there was some stuff that was achieved here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, the Steelers came into the game. They wanted to play a clean, efficient, mistake-free, obviously can't always be penalty-free, but they really wanted to limit the mistakes, the types of things in which they kick their own butt, is the way Mike Tomlin put it on Thursday. And for the most part, even Mike Tomlin said after the game, that they felt like they achieved that. The obviously first drive for the Steelers offense, they go down, they score a touchdown. Skylar Thompson comes in. They don't score on the first drive, but then second drive is a 2-minute, which they practiced this week, and Skylar Thompson led them to a touchdown in practice.
He had a nice drive too. You're talking about the one in Latrobe.
Yeah, the one in Latrobe, and then repeated the same thing tonight with a touchdown pass to Max Hurleman. So.
Wait.
Yeah.
The great Max Hurleman. Need some kind of sound effects for that.
Oh, man.
The great Max Hurleman.
For those of you, I came up with the idea in the press box. For those of you who watch SNL in the 90s, know of the Hurley Boy. Well, he is for now forever known as the Hurleman Boy. So anyone who appreciates that. But
all he does is make plays. He doesn't care what you think about where he was drafted.
He might have, and he played at Colgate University before he played at Notre Dame.
He played very well at Colgate University.
But seriously, they did for the most part play that type of football. They didn't kick their own butt. Not a lot of operational issues. Skylar Thompson, Juan Thornhill, like those guys said on both sides of the ball, they communicated well. Arthur Smith got the plays in. They got the plays off. There were no delay of games. Juan Thornhill said Peyton Wilson was good with the green dot, communicated everything.
Wilson was everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I know he's everywhere. He's everywhere with how he exists in life. Like if he's at Ponderosa, he's getting every part of the buffet at once. Okay? That's just who he is with all that speed and that awareness and that confidence that he has. I thought he carried himself pretty well. By the way, had a quick chat with PQ afterward, Patrick Queen, whose place Peyton Wilson took as a green dot guy, and he said something similar. He said the kid did really well out there. It's nice to hear. There were a lot of boxes that got checked tonight, Chris. It wasn't just offensively. It was on the other side of the ball as well. A generally solid performance. I'm not saying that because they ended up with more points in a preseason game or any of that kind of stuff. You can only control your own side of things. I thought the Steelers carried themselves pretty well in general. When we come back, we're going to check off some of those boxes ourselves. At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects. Welcome back to Jacksonville, Florida. He's Chris Halleck. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. The boxes that I wanted to see checked were almost entirely on offense, and I think a lot of people probably shared that sentiment. I'm going to start with Broderick Jones because you know how I've been keeping an eye on him. He knows how I've been keeping an eye on him. We had also a brief chat afterward. He didn't want to talk about anything on the record, so I'm not going to share any of that. But let's just say from his smile, you could tell from his disposition that he knew that what we saw was real. He played well.
He did. He did technically, if you want to talk about who let the guy through.
Oh, no,
that
you're
got
not
to the
going to do that.
I am not doing that.
No, you're not going to do that.
I'm not doing that.
I don't want to hear this.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Mason Rudolph did get sacked one time, but that was after he held onto the ball for probably about 17 seconds.
That sack was 100% on Mason.
1,000%. Broderick played really well tonight. Just about every rep that he had in pass protection, He looked good. I'm almost not even worried about the run blocking right now. We know he can run block on a more consistent basis than the way he performs in pass protection. And in pass protection tonight against starters on the other side of the ball. Now they're not running a whole bunch of
There's
crazy
no tricks.
stuff. Yeah, no tricks and anything like that. It's just beat the guy across from you. Well, again, baby steps with Broderick. He did that.
He did that. What I liked was that he had different approaches to his success. Whenever a guy was coming at him with some circuitous route, he would let that guy take that route and then just eat him up near the end or shove him past Rudolph to make sure, I don't care what you do back there. He also had a bull rush that he would encounter, and he wouldn't just try to manhandle the guy. He was, I'm going to absorb it, but you're not getting through me. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that you want to see from Broad. Also saw him making adjustments. There was one in particular where it looked like the play might, like Chris said, these schemes aren't tricky, but that doesn't mean they're coming at you completely vanilla. They don't tell you who is necessarily going to match up with whom. Mm-hmm. And what we saw from Broad on this play was all right, this guy, he's not coming. Oh, you are? All right, I'll just block you then. Mm-hmm. He also was solid on the run block too.
Yeah, he was. I thought it was a good night for Broderick Jones. For the 4 of the 5 offensive linemen that started, Isaac Sayamala was the one who did not. Spencer Anderson started in his spot. I thought it was good for that entire unit, but of course all the eyes are going to go to Broderick Jones right now because, well, he's a first-round tackle that hasn't lived up to expectations so far. So, yeah, again, baby steps. Beating the guy across from you in a preseason game, do that 2 more times, and then whenever September 7th rolls around when they go to New Jersey to kick the season off, then start doing it for real in the regular season.
And one guy who wasn't needing to take baby steps and didn't was Mason. I thought Mason carried himself confidently.
Yeah.
And I just downstairs in speaking with him, that's still there, Chris. That 2003 version of him is there. 2020. He hasn't been around that long. No. Those would be baby steps.
Yeah.
Actual baby steps. Mason carried himself with enough of a poise that he was able to call the plays that fit him.
Yeah.
He's working with the Arthur Smith offense that is also the Aaron Rodgers offense, and I hope you guys noticed some of that as we did. The quick outs, making sure that you're getting rid of the ball quickly. Mason did those things, but Mason also said, hey, if I got it, I'm going to take it. One pass in particular I know stood out for both of us early on when he hit Roman Wilson.
First pass.
Cutting across the middle. Roman did not have much separation. Now, whether or not that's on Roman or the guy covering him or both, that doesn't really matter because Mason had a pocket like this, and he delivered.
Well, the good thing is, for Roman Wilson, I'm looking at that from the Roman Wilson side. I had a chance to chat with him for just a second after the game. It was just on audio. But still, to have that, like after playing only 5 snaps last year, and then to come out very first pass, that's where they're going. High, dig over the middle, playing up against press. That's important because Roman Wilson not known for being a guy coming out of Michigan that could just, he can line up against press and he can win all the time. He actually did that really well on that particular route and made a catch through contact. I look at that as a big win because I almost trust Mason to make those kind of throws.
Yeah.
Because he's a veteran, he's executed these type of throws in his career.
And he'll fire it.
Yeah.
He's not messing around.
Yeah, but it's good to have Roman on the other side of that. If Roman, hasn't hit him in the numbers and it falls through, because of the contact or wherever else, then you're kind of like, oh, Roman.
Right.
But he makes the catch. He felt, he didn't have, a lot to say about it. He was just like, I'm blessed.
He doesn't have a lot to say about anything.
No, he doesn't. But he's just like, man, I've just continued to work, continue to move forward. And it's just.
But that's okay because you also saw him in there. The way he was carrying on with his teammates around the locker was different than what he's been.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's now in on the conversation. He's not the guy that's quiet sitting at the stall. It's nice to see him, and it's nice to see what Mason contributed to that. Let's go to the other side of the ball here, Chris. There were things to like over there, even though not a lot of their guys played. We mentioned Peyton Wilson already. I want to go to Juan Thornhill because Juan had the hit of the evening.
Oh yeah.
And those count no matter what. If you're lining up somebody and you can take them and take them down like that, never mind to a player who's supposed to be
Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah,
the greatest thing ever. He took care of business there. He took care of it physically. And even if you're the quote unquote center fielder, if he's literally taking Minka's spot, you still got to be able to do that. Chris, you had a talk with Thornhill afterward. We're going to play the whole thing right here.
Early on in that game, you go out there, Brian Thomas coming over the middle, you make that big hit. Nice clean hit. Just how did it feel to get that? I know it's just preseason, but get that first big hit of preseason just out of the way.
You know, we've actually been tackling a lot in practice, so it's not the first tackle I've made, but you know, I just felt like it was perfect for me to go out there and lay the boom early in the preseason, you know, set the tone for the season, just to let everybody know that we're going to be a physical defense.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, there's so much, talk about, obviously guys like, when Slay and Ramsey and all those guys come in, and you talk about all the corners being able to man up. Also having guys like you and Deshaun, Roman, Deshaun playing more in the box, you being able to play the free safety back there. I mean, now you put that on tape, you get more people turning heads, being like, all right, this isn't just, those three guys. It's also the safeties on this defense, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. When you got guys that's, like, willing to lay the boom when you come across the middle, I think teams will think twice before they throw a route across that middle. You don't want to send your best player across that middle thinking they're not going to get hit. But when you got two safeties back there that's, willing to lay the boom, you're going to have to pay for it if you're willing to throw the ball in there.
Coach Tomlin talked about the importance of being able to play, clean, mistake-free, penalty-free, that kind. How do you guys feel like you did, while obviously not all the starters, but the guys who did start the game, how do you feel like you guys did in terms of playing that way, playing efficiently, getting calls in, everybody knowing communication, all that kind of stuff? How do you feel like you guys did with that?
I think we did pretty good, like with it being our first game, usually like there's like a couple blown coverages, but I don't think we had any blown coverages today. Like they might have beat us on, just schemes and things like that, but for the most part, I feel like everybody capitalized pretty well.
How did Peyton do with the green dot?
Great. He the guy's amazing, smart player. I mean, he made a lot of plays, so he did amazing.
I mean, I thought that was a really, really awesome conversation with Juan, just because, like, yeah, I would talk about the hit and having fun. You saw the smile on his face, being like, yeah, it's good to have those type of hits. But also when it comes down, like we were talking about earlier, when it comes down to getting plays in, the one thing that actually stood out to me throughout that entire conversation was whenever he said, "I don't think we had any blown coverages tonight." That's again.
Let that be the first thing that comes out of his mouth. I like that.
Yeah, no, because listen, all the talk and all the things that we witnessed at the end of last year with the communication issues and all this kind of stuff.
Said, yeah.
But to have that again, it's just preseason. We're taking this with a grain of salt. But again, this is when the order of operations and operating as a team to play clean football. This is how you build it. This is what they've been working on in practice. You take it into a stadium, you continue to do it there, then you go to practice again, you take it to a stadium again, and that way you're in a rhythm already doing that by the time the regular season starts. And for Thornhill to be a guy, and I do like it that, listen, all the talk about Ramsey and Slay and all these guys, so they got Deshaun Elliott, and Juan Thornhill's there to prove that he's not just a guy back there. He's actually going to be a contributor on this defense.
Yeah, it was good to see him step up and step out of that shadow that you're describing there, because that's what it's become. We're all talking about three guys in the secondary as if they're the only three out there. That's not how it's going to go.
It's not.
You've got Brandon Eccles, you've got Deshaun Elliott, you've got some players.
Eccles also had a pass defense tonight, too.
Yeah, and he had an opportunity to really talk some trash on that dude who had the drop in front of him, and he bypassed it. I thought that was a sign of maturity.
Yeah, it really was.
What the heck was that? He turned and walked away from the guy.
I don't know, man. I thought, listen, with what we've been seeing in practice, that was a perfect opportunity for Eccles to do his Jalen Ramsey impersonation, and he has not shied away from that in practice, so it is kind of funny that he didn't do it in the game.
There were some rookies who were out there for the first time, too, notable rookies. We saw Derek Harmon out there for the first time in a Steelers uniform. I thought he looked solid at times, more than solid at other times. We didn't see, I don't want to really single out Jacksonville for this, because we didn't really see either team run the ball super great.
No, not really.
Okay, but we didn't see the Jaguars run the ball super great, and I have no doubt Harmon was part of that. He in there. What did you think of the first rounders play?
I thought Harmon played well. Actually, the first drive for the Jaguars, when Trevor Lawrence is in there and Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. and all their like a lot of their starters are in there. I'm gonna be I was like, okay, well, how does Jack Sawyer do? Like one rep, I'd had the binoculars up and I'm looking at Jack Sawyer just that one play.
He got there.
Then I'm looking at Derek Harmon another play, and I thought they did a really good job. There was one play early on when they did run the ball. I thought Benton and Harmon did a great job of eating up a lot of space, and Peyton Wilson shot the gap, and it kept the run to a very minimal gain. I think it was like 1 or 2 yards. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. Whenever those guys aren't able to get off blocks and make plays themselves, you at least want to see them be able to take on multiple guys so that their linebackers can play clean.
I'll tell you a story from inside the locker room that has to do with both Harmon and Ben, is watching the two of them sit next to each other after the game, a good while after the game was over, just talking, going over things, and you could tell by their hand motions that they were discussing football, things that had happened in the game.
Yeah.
These guys, in a not-so-direct manner, are competing.
Yeah.
They're competing for that third spot, or I should say that second spot next to Cam Hayward. Repeating from our opening, this was uneventful, and by that I mean that's good, because nobody got hurt, nobody got anything.
Cam McCutcheon was the only one with an actual injury, but
I saw him in the locker room and he was moving around fine.
Yeah.
And that's pretty far down the depth chart not to be that guy.
Right.
But they came out clean. They came out feeling about as good about yourself as you'd want to after a preseason week 1. Your final thoughts?
I thought whenever a team goes in looking to play a certain way, and then they play that way, that's impressive to me. That means that now you can say, oh, that's not impressive, that's what they're expected to do. Well, they also did it without 19 of their regular players. Without their starting quarterback, their star receiver, their number 1 running back, and you can just list the number of guys that didn't play. They still went out there. They still played clean. It wasn't perfect, but they didn't turn the ball over. I can't think of another way in which you could have to really, really nitpick in order to find ways. And I thought that was a really good first step for this team here in the preseason.
See, I'm going to go off the rails with my final thought. Some dude for Jacksonville kicked a football 70 yards out there.
Yeah.
70 yards.
And
Humans aren't meant to do this. Like, you maybe could pull it off on the surface of the moon.
Right.
But the funny thing is we're sitting there in the press box, and there's a Jacksonville writer a little bit to our left, and they announced in the press box, what's his name again?
Cam Little.
Cam Little.
Yeah.
Cam Little attempt a field goal of 70 yards. And, like, if you tuned out, which you can routinely do as a reporter, okay, I paid attention to it. And then you hear 70 yards, you go, hang on a second.
I gotta pay attention to this, yeah.
Everybody puts their pens down. Everybody stops typing. And the Jacksonville guy over to my left, he says, he does that in practice.
Yeah.
Oh, does he now? And then he hits it, and you're going, that's not only got a chance.
Yeah.
That's going to clear by a good bit. It's a line drive, but it would have been a 73-yarder, guaranteed.
For sure. It's crazy. And I saw like some people like complaining about like, oh, you shouldn't be able to get the ball in the 35. And then, dude,
who cares?
Listen, scoring is down in the NFL.
If people start hitting 70-yard field goals, we're in for a different sport. Like routinely, right?
But listen, if these guys are capable of doing it, then they're capable of doing it. Like,
he didn't cheat.
He did not.
Not that we know.
Right. Unless he gets popped for roids or anything like that. But I think the only real disappointment is that it's a preseason game. So,
I don't know, man. I want to see that in a regular season game.
I do too.
Awesome.
I do too. But so I'm saying, like in terms of the NFL record books.
Yeah. Oh no, you got to do. What's the record? 67?
66, I think.
I don't know.
Either way, it's not 70.
It's not 70.
Yeah.
So we saw a human kick a football 70 yards in a semi-pseudo quasi-real game. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back Monday with my daily shots in the morning. Chris's Chalk Talk will be up. And then he and I will team up for a double shot of Steelers from Latrobe?
From practice, yeah,
From
Monday.
Latrobe, yeah. I don't know. We'll be out in Latrobe. We'll be doing one of these. See you then.